We begin with developing news. Unrest across America tonight as demonstrators take to the streets following the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis last week. The growing tensions leading to violence in some cities, while here in Connecticut, the protests were largely peaceful today. Here's a look at how things played out all over the country. From California to Washington, D.C., people gathered to spread their message and demand justice. Meanwhile, a showdown between the president and governors all across the country.
I have strongly recommended to every governor to deploy the National Guard in sufficient numbers that we dominate the streets.
The president's message coming as protesters here in Connecticut continue to peacefully take to the streets to spread their message.
This is the time for change.
We have team coverage for you tonight, but we begin with Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Matthew Campbell. And Matthew, tell us a little more about what today's protest in Hartford looked like.
Well, Aaron, they were noisy, but they did not look like the others seen nationwide. They were disruptive at times, but they were non-violent. And for that, state officials are thankful, and we're seeing them stand right alongside with them.
Hundreds of protesters seeking racial equality face down on 84 in Hartford. Traffic slowed to a halt as protesters for nearly an hour banded together in the name of George Floyd, a black man killed at the hands of a white Minneapolis police officer. State police right there monitoring the demonstration while also getting cars off the road by sending them to the on-ramps.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
Today marked the fourth straight day of protests in the capital city. It started at Keeney Park, went to City Hall, the state capitol, Hartford Police Headquarters, the lanes of 84, and then back to Keeney Park.
More people to come out, more people to stand together, more people to be solidified and together and unified.
Along the way, they gathered support from the governor's office.
All in this together for something bigger than themselves.
To the mayor.
If you are not heartbroken, feel your stomach heave when you see the murder of George Floyd, and you are not a human being.
Hartford's police chief, Jason Thody, kneeled in solidarity, and the state police released a statement to their own, in part saying, quote, "If you wear a badge and aren't appalled by what you saw, please turn it in and find a new profession. We don't need you."
We hear sorry too much.
Governor Lamont's daily news briefing was dominated by the protests, and he pulled the curtain back by revealing parts of a video conference he had with President Trump earlier in the day.
How come you're not, quote, dominating the battlefield? And that was the message they said.
Later, the president detailed what that meant when addressing the nation tonight.
If a city or state refuses to take the actions that are necessary to defend the life and property of their residents, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them.
Other than mace being deployed on protesters in New Haven and a Molotov cocktail being thrown at a New Haven police substation, the looting and violence seen elsewhere hasn't been a problem here.
And I just hope to God we can maintain that sense of respect and peace that is so key.
While leaders attempt to show unity today, the people who are seeking the change say they've seen it before and want to see more.
We need to stop taking these and do some real moves towards change.
The governors and all of that, that is standing. When you hold people accountable, accountability is what's going to get us farther. Accountability is what's going to make us rise and to give us that justice that we're looking for.
So the president indicates the National Guard could be deployed. We asked the state about that, and they say right now that is not the plan because it simply isn't warranted. Live above the newsroom, Matthew Campbell, Channel 13 News.